Hello, and welcome to the event from the business communities by Extia. Today, to present the topic, we have 4 speakers. Jeremy, who is the director of Extia Spain. Jeremy joined Extia Paris as a business engineer and worked his way up to the position of a branch manager. He then decided to create Extia Spain. Lucy, she always knew that she wanted to go abroad to discover new perspective. Years ago, she decided to move to Barcelona. She is an HR consultant in V.I.E. And Marwan, who joined Extia in 2017, he starts the adventure as a consultant at Extia Lille. And after 5 years, he decided to take Extia beyond the borders. This is the creation of Extia Canada. And Quentin, Epitech students, he won the first edition of the hackathon by Extia. He was the first employee of the Extia Spain agency. So I will now turn it over to Jeremy to continue the presentation.
Hi all, thanks a lot to be here, and I apologize too for our great French accents, however we are now an international company, we still French with French accents in English. So to talk you a bit about what we will have as topics today, I will have with you a little introduction about the great adventure of Extia Barcelona. I will talk a bit you to our culture here, how we are working, why we are working like that, and why it's really cool to be in Spain and especially in Barcelona. And then we will make a little flashback and about our hackathon, the first great event that we organize in Extia. So to talk a bit more to you about the adventure was all began more or less 3 years ago. The idea for me was to stay in Extia, but to change my life, my work, and a lot of things. I think a lot about that, and finally, the first Who Then What came here in my shoulder, and so I came to see Arnaud, our president, and propose him to set up the Spanish subsidiary here in Barcelona. What was a bit of work from Paris. Marwan will let you know too how is it easy and fun to create a subsidiary in another country. But for to make a step up, the adventure here in Spain began in July of 2019 here in Barcelona. 10 minutes walking about the beach in July was a great way to begin that. Our first feeling here is that was a great idea to have a development of the activity here in Spain, but really quickly we had the bet that we can do a lot of things from Spain for France and for other countries. I have to say that in the first months before the COVID, I don't know if you remember about this situation, it's really far now. All was really complicated as the image, for example, of our meetup. We were really attached to our model with pizza and beers. For us was like the main thing, and now it's natural for all of us to have that in Visio. So we organized a great hackathon, which the first part was physically in Paris, is with a collaboration of the school Epitech. I think that maybe some of you know just a bit this school with Extia, and personally, I have to say that we have a great story with Epitech. So We organized a hackathon. The first step was in Paris, in joint collaboration with Epitech. Some students said us that was like a bit mini and really compensated. Sorry, EIP was in one night, a little bit more, but in one night. Quentin, who will talk you a bit more about his experience, then was one of our participants. So next step was here in Barcelona. So for the 10 finalists was yet like a bit the gift. We have 2 great days here, working a bit, but having a lot of fun. And our winner, Quentin, won some things that maybe he will talk a bit about you. All that for saying to you that finally the 3 first person here in Barcelona was French, without Spanish speaking, but just we were together in the adventure. The beginning was not that easy, but was fun. We had a lot of great experience, and then we have not advised things, which was named, as you all know, the COVID. In a sense, was really difficult, really stressful, really unknown. But as in each difficulty born some opportunities, was too a big accelerator for us in all the remote work for us in Extia and for all the teams around Europe and the world. And finally, we began to work from Spain for Spain, but a lot from Spain for France, and now some more 2 years after for Canada. And maybe Marwan will talk to you a bit about that. Sweden, Switzerland, and a lot of things. And it's like just the fun part of the fun aspect of that. But I like to say to our collaborators, Extia's colleagues, and clients that we are doing exactly the same things in the same condition, but just happier. If we want to make just a small resume of all that, we are in the same condition that all Europe, but with beach as 10 minutes, sun all the year, rooftop and free beer. That just for the fun part, but it's making a lot. So in Barcelona, we create little by little a really special ambience with a way of life and a way of work. Really cool, but cool in a work situation. And if you have this question, the first who then what is really important for us here. So more or less a lot of time, some people ask us, okay, not like that, but I have the good mind, I have some skills, can I come to Barcelona? And a lot of not all the time, but a lot of the time, we are saying, okay, just let's make an interview, think about what we can do, then that. And now that then we have the remote position for work in a lot of cool projects. Now we have clients as Channel in France, a lot of Spanish startup. We are working for Decathlon. Well, a lot of clients all around Europe, and now with Canada, we can say all around the world. That's great. In some project, in a lot of things, from HR parts, then that Lucy will talk you a bit more about that, and dev and DevOps and ops and project management. We have project owner. We have so a lot of great things. And yes, the Canada is coming then. So just for introduce Quentin in this cool way, Quentin was the first, well, after me, technically the second Extian from Barcelona, and the beginning of that is really cool anecdote, I think.
Everybody, so I'm Quentin. I'm a former Epitech student It's been 2 years since I finished the school, and I'm going to tell you how I got to Extia. As Jeremy said, I participate in the first hackathon. So we just signered with a friend, and it was in pair in a group of 2 people. So the goal was not really to win. We did it at the start for more the second stage. We was today in the sun of Barcelona. So the first stage of the competition was in Paris and the second in Barcelona, and we do it for going in Barcelona. In the end, we developed an application, and it went better than expected. We spent a weekend in Spain with my friend, and we participate in the second stage. At the end of this selection, I won the victory and the prize of the hackathon. The prize was a V.I.E job in Barcelona, 6 months of my rent, and an electric scooters. In the end, I had the opportunity to work with French clients in Spain, like NG or Decathlon. So it was a super pleasant climate because I didn't have the language barrier with the customer. I can speak in French, I can speak in English. And also because I was in Barcelona, it was sunny, sorry. So the V.I.E, the contract, was very useful because I didn't have to worry about big things like I don't know the contract. I just have to care about my home in Barcelona, and it was not very expensive. And you have a good pay for a car start, so it's calculated with the organism who spend that, and Lucy will talk about that later. But I did a year in the agency, and I choose to return to Paris for some reason. But Exia was very cool with that, and I joined the agency at Paris. So for me, the V.I.E was an advantage, and because it was a very keen hand job, so you have a full package, and Extia take care of everything. But I let Lucy talk about it now.
Hi everybody. So my story is a bit different because I knew since I was in high school that I wanted to study and start my professional life abroad. So as soon as I started my studies in a business school, I heard about the V.I.E contract and all its benefits. So when I graduated, I only applied for V.I.E program because it's an expatriation program that is interesting for the company and for the worker. It's interesting for the worker for several reasons. First of all, it makes administrative procedures easier because Business France, which is a French public entity that allows this program, gives you all the instructions step by step to obtain your visa or whatever you need to be allowed to live and work in the country. Then the salary package is interesting because the compensation depends on each country. It means that Business France has a salary scale which is calculated every 3 or 4 months according to the cost of living for each country to be sure that the compensation will allow the worker to live comfortably. And there is also an international health insurance, and the worker does not pay any tax during all the V.I.E contracts, which can last 24 months. It's also a contract that allows you to have 30 days holiday per year, and any European citizen under 29 years may be eligible for a V.I.E program. But if you don't meet these eligibility criteria, don't worry because there is a lot of other ways to work abroad that Marwan will tell you about. So right now, I'm working next year with a V.I.E contract as a recruiter for almost a year in Barcelona, and I'm recruiting for all our international agencies. So I was in your shoes a few months ago, and now I'm recruiting V.I.E. So I can give you some tips on how to find a job abroad more easily. So first of all, where and how to apply. there is one website that you should know. It's the website V.I.E. It's the Business France website, and it's a website where you can find all the V.I.E offers, and you can also find a lot of information about the different countries. So if you haven't met your choice yet of where you want to go, this is the best website to find information, and you can directly apply on this website. So it's the website V.I.E. V.I.E offers are often also published by the companies on LinkedIn. So a little tip to make the difference and show your motivation to work abroad, you have to apply with a CV in English and to put your LinkedIn in English. If you already know in which country you want to work, but you want to know what French companies are in the country, you can go on different websites. For example, the website of Chambre du Commerce of the country where you want to live, because you will find on this website a list of all the French companies established there. And then you can check on CV-Web or LinkedIn or directly on the company website if they have offers that correspond to your search. And now that you have a bit more, that you know a bit more about how to find jobs abroad and where you have to apply, I will give you some tips to show your motivation during interviews. So when you apply for a job, first of all, you have to write it down somewhere. I used to make, for example, an Excel file with a list of all the offers I applied to, with the name of the company and the link to the offer. So if the company calls me, I can quickly find information about the company and the job. And if you're lucky to be called by a company where you have applied, it will be important to show and explain your motivation for living abroad. Even if you only speak French and have never lived abroad, you are not less legitimate than anyone else in wanting to live abroad. You just have to show your motivation to the recruiter by being able to justify why the country interests you. So before the interview, you can find out some details about the country, for example, information about the culture, the history of the country, and explain why you like this kind of culture and why you think you will feel good in this country. And if you already had the chance to live abroad, don't hesitate during the interview to give details of this experience, explaining, for example, the context in which you went there for an internship, for example, or for studies, and how you acclimated to the culture and what did the experience brings you, or what were your difficulties, for example. So these are tips that make the difference during interviews, and that I challenge a lot during the interviews when I recruit for our international offices. We have offices in Spain, Portugal, Belgium, Switzerland, Romania, and since few months in Canada. So I will let Marwan tell you about it.
Thank you very much, Lucy. I'm very glad to see that there are almost 200 people here. So to speak more about myself. So I'm Marwan, director of Extia Canada, and to introduce myself a bit longer, I will tell you how I've got there specifically. So like 6 years ago, I've been graduated as engineer, and I wanted to start my career to the best way. So fortunately, I met someone working in Extia, and she convinced me to join the company, and at the beginning as a consultant. So I've joined Extia in Lille, so in northern France, as a data scientist for like 6 months. And then I lived my first experience, how the first who then what, because I wanted to take another path, working in a more business and human way, and then switch of position. So just 6 months after, I switched for a business manager position, still in Extia Lille, and then everything was doing great, and I continued to evolve until being in charge of an agency. Sorry for the loud, because there is many people here, so sorry if you can't hear me well. And then after this, I lived my second experience of the first then what, because at the beginning, my project of expatriation is a personal project. You have to understand that I always wanted to live in Canada, like many people. And then, since it was a kid dream, I proposed it to Extia. And we decided to launch the agency there and launching by myself because we weren't there. So to answer one of the question, I saw if Germany is one of the countries we are present in. Not really now, but if you want maybe to start a new activity, you can maybe speak with someone in Extia and see if it could be some possibilities. So this is how I get there. So I've spoken at the time with my bosses. So it was like 2 years ago. And then the project had enjoyed them a lot. And then we decided to go for it and then launch the agency. So now the agency is now open and ready to operate. We are based in Montreal, in Quebec, which is a very amazing city, even with the snow and all the cold here. But people here are very great, very kind, and very easily to meet. So it's a very good city to live in. To speak more about the possibility of expatriation, I've been through a lot of difficulties with the creation of the agency, specifically with my situation. I'm a bit old now. It's very weird to say that because I'm almost 30. So I'm not eligible to the V.I.E contract, just like many people, unfortunately. And I was very sad because that would be the easiest way to get there in Canada. So the immigration part was a bit difficult, to be honest, and to get there. But I've managed, and I'm here in Canada as a local contract. But to give you some advices or some tips to get expatriated on every country. I will speak more about Canada because this is the country I know the most. But it's really the same depending on the country you aim. So for Canada, the two easy parts, if you want to get there, if you're not eligible to V.I.E contract, the first one is the PVT, Permis Vacances Travail in French. So this is working holiday permit. It's a visa you can get only randomly. So it means randomly you have to apply on the website, and then every Monday you will be sorted and selected to get this visa. So it's very specific, and you get 2 years of an open permit, so you can work for any company just like you want. So it's a very open visa, and the easy one if you don't have any company and you just want to get there and work. Okay, and the other one, which is for me, I guess the intermediate solution. If you find a company who want to hire you here in Canada, you can get the Visa Jeune Pro. So this is very specific to Canada. It's a 2 years visa permit, and you can work for any company you want if you're not eligible to the V.I.E. So if you're eligible to V.I.E, so just get a V.I.E, it's easier. But if you are not eligible to the V.I.E contract, Jeune Pro is 2 years contract, close contract, so you have to work only for this company. And then at the end of the 2 years, you will, if you want, you have the possibility to stay in Canada with either a local contract or a permanent residency if you want. So you have to apply, and you have other procedures just after. But this is like every country. So if you want to go abroad and expatriate yourself, I don't know. If you aim to go, I know Japan is a very interesting destination. Asia is a bit more difficult because there isn't some agreement with the countries. So it really depends. But I know the PVT, working holiday permit, is available for many countries like South Korea, Japan, New Zealand, Australia. And I've seen that they open it to Argentina and Brazil, something like that. I'm not very sure, but if you want to go, I don't know, in South Africa, you want to get there, just go in the website government, see what are the possibilities, or contact just someone on LinkedIn, a French there, and speak to them, and they will be glad to answer you. So this is how I've made myself to go in Canada, and what I advise to all the people they want to expatriate.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.